Okay, well, this recording is going to be a little bit longer than normal. Um, so I'd like to describe how I came to become a Muslim or subscribe to Islam if you prefer to hear it that way. Um, where to start? It's like a bird flying from one lamppost to another. Um, which flap of the wings actually gets the bird there? Well, actually, all of them. And so I'll start with my very first encounter with anything spiritual. And in high school, somehow one of my friends, who happened to be Jewish, is curious, had a book by a Sufi named Gurdjieff. Was called Beelzebub's Tales to His Grandson. And I read that. I was quite fascinated. Didn't understand much of it at the time. In fact, almost none of it. But I knew there was something there for me. Um, and so I wasn't very interested in spiritual matters till I began to really struggle in my life at about the age 35, and I hit a bottom where I pretty much lost everything, and decided that there had to be a better way to live, and so I started my spiritual practice seriously at that time with about 8 years of Zen Buddhism with a Zen master in California, in San Francisco, in fact. And I really enjoyed that time very much. It helped me get a quiet mind and become a bit present. And I guess that's the way to describe it. So, but at the end of that 8 years, I had an incredibly quiescent mind, and I didn't have any questions about Zen. Um, Though I had read some of the literature, I didn't feel that helped very much because my practice taught me pretty much everything I needed to know. Um, but there was something missing, and I didn't know quite what it was. And so I thrashed around for quite a while, maybe 7 or 8 years, just trying every imaginable spiritual practice there was, going to different churches and synagogues and whatnot. I really enjoyed the Quaker practice, by the way, because it was so quiet. That really called to me. I think that was because of my Zen Buddhist practice. But anyway, so I ended up getting baptized as a Christian, and I went to Christian churches as a proper Christian for many years, probably about 10 years. But once again, I arrived in this place where I felt there was something missing. Not that I had any trouble with most of the teaching. There were a few little twists and turns that I didn't quite get, but so I want to say that I studied mathematics in school, and I'm kind of a root cause guy. I want to get to the root of things, and that carried over to my spiritual practice too. I never felt quite satisfied with what I read, what I found, what my practice was. There was always just something missing. And I moved to Austin, Texas, and lived next to a Muslim um, who who introduced me the first time to Islam in a very gentle way. Took me to a mosque a couple of times, and I I didn't think much of it. And he gave me a copy of the Quran, and so I started reading that, and instantly when I read that, I knew I had found the root cause of my misunderstanding of spirituality. The Quran just spoke to me in a profoundly deep way, much like the math books that I studied spoke to me. I um, I knew it was true. I just knew it was true. And so very quickly after I finished reading the Quran one or two times, I took the Shahada, which is the way that we declare our faith in Islam. And I've been a Muslim for quite a while now. Now I want to say that I go to Christian churches still. I go to synagogues on Friday night occasionally. I love all the different spiritual practices because Islam includes all of those. It doesn't disparage any of those. In fact, it's very clear in the Quran that if God had intended there to be just one religion, He would have made it that way. And I think it's so that we learn to get along, which we're not doing a very good job of. So anyway, I think when I actually became a Muslim, because the term Muslim means one who is peacefully submitted to God, was when I was about 35 years old and I crashed and my life fell apart. I was in such deep trouble that I had lost virtually everything. And I leaned up against a post one day when I was really very depressed, I guess. Discouraged is probably a better word. And I said this simple prayer: God, if you're there, please help me now. And I felt some electricity begin at the bottoms of my feet and go up through my body and out through the top of my head. I wouldn't call electricity a feeling of there's no words to describe the feeling, but it was an incredible sense of peace and belonging and knowing that there was God. And all of the troubles that I was having at that time disappeared instantly. Um, Now, that isn't to say my life turned around quickly and became a productive member of society. That took a number of years. But so really, I became a Muslim when I was 35, actually, when I submitted to God in a peaceful, gentle way. So luckily, many, many years later, I found the Quran, the book that described that experience to me. So anyway, that's probably it for now, and I hope it makes some sense. Bye-bye.